Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. So, today's live session is an opportunity to unpack the ideas of our ongoing online exhibition, Emergence of Perception, with our curator, Yuli. She will share the insights into the exhibition's concept, the artist's philosophy, and all the works which are on the display. And we will be exploring how these artworks came together to create a thoughtful and sensory experience, and why returning to perception feels especially relevant in today's fast paced world, and which is very digitalized. So, our ongoing online exhibition, Emergence of Perception, is a solo show of the artist Tikendra Kumar Sahu, who explore how our everyday experiences quietly shape who we are, how we feel, and how we relate to the world around us. And instead of focusing on dramatic or any big moment, chasing big moments, it draws our attention to the small, ordinary experiences which we often overlook. These very mundane, everyday things which happen around us. So we don't give much value to them and we uh, overlook or ignore them. The artist, his practice is deeply rooted in observation, memory, and embodied experience. Through his works, he invites us to slow down and engage with perception before the interpretation begins. So, our curator, Yuli, is here, and now I will give stage to Lara.
Yeah. Hi everyone. This is a curatorial talk for the exhibition. I don't know if maybe some of you have already joined our private view and you might get some idea of how the exhibition might look like, and you may also get a chance to look in our website to actually see the exhibition. And today I will be talking a little bit on my journey, like how we actually eventually come out with this topic and why we really want to uh, talk in this kind of layers. One of the reasons is because, as many of you know, like these days we are really we are really focused on like to get to work and to like work hard and those things, but we forgot to put ourselves into those important moments that we need to actually feel about. Maybe some of you like get up in the morning and rush out to the office, but we might just forgot to really feel the air, like the sun, how the sunlight look like today, or how the temperature in the air was like today. And even in the afternoon, like maybe we just have lunch and run back to work or have a quick sleep, but we just don't really get the time to feel the environment around us. Yeah, so that is some like a really general topic I want to talk in this session. And
I agree with you. The point you mentioned that the things which happen around us, these can be anything. And we try to often overlook them and we don't notice them, like what's happening around us. While these small moments, they shape our life, how we feel, and they subconsciously affect us. So, but in this fast-paced world, we tend to overlook them. And this whole exhibition is based on that. And okay, before we move just forward, I would like to introduce about the artist, Tikendra Kumar Sahu. He is an Indian visual artist whose watercolor practice transforms everyday observation into quite reflective virtual narratives. He works primarily with Fabriano paper. He builds each image through delicate strokes and minor marks that evoke memory, emotion, and sensory atmosphere of daily life. His paintings draw from cultural habits human behavior and environmental impression. And uh, okay, so if you want to know more about the artist, you can visit our website. And if you have any queries or anything, you can just email us or DM us so that we can share more things. Uh, our curator has a conversation with our artist, and she interacted with him. So I guess she can tell you more about the artist, like his inspiration and his philosophies, which he believes in, or which shaped his artistic practices.
Yeah, actually, it's a very interesting conversation I was having with Kumar Sahu. I will call him Mr. Sahu for now. It's like he described himself as artsake, like his practice and himself as artsake. By meaning of that, I think, which he gave some explanation, is like he think it's kind of a personal pain, like what he feel in his life. He will try to describe it and creative and finally put it in his canvas and his papers as his work. And this is actually a very high sensitive things that he was having during his practice. And also it's really different from just getting an like a express. Sorry, I couldn't pronounce the word for now, but like, yeah, it's like really different from that practice because inspiration is just like a sudden things that really comes into your mind. But like for him, his work is more like through time and a lot of thinking. He will try to slowly and generally put it down as we see like in this exhibition, we only have put in like three of his work, and it's all about plant. Uh, and he used a very unique technique, which you may say is like pointillism, but like for him, um, like he may get the idea from the pointillism, but it's not the reason why he used this specific technique. It's only because it's like a purification that he want to really apply on the paper that will take him like months to finally create one work. And through that little dot on his work, you will see that it's really comes through in like small step and gradually generally develop into a full piece. And I think that is one of the idea like why he really want to create his work like that, and he will spend a lot of time on observation and waiting in between because he will think a lot. And also one of the reasons for why I choose this three Pacific painting for this exhibition is because like during our conversation, he was basically mentioned one of his painting, which is also in this exhibition. It's called Sadasu Hangen, which in Indian direct translation will be the forever happy marriage, that kind of vibe. But it's also meaning of a flower that will uh, bloom throughout the year, and which in that conversation he mentioned that for him artists should like that kind of flower, that their creation and idea will keep blooming and lasting throughout their life, and they will try to produce that in between. It's like his creation is for last for his whole life, and it's really romantic and like inseparate topic we were having during the conversation.
Okay, actually, I was just about to ask you
Yeah.
about the artworks featured in this exhibition, but you answered it even before. So all the artworks which are being exhibited in this exhibition, they have some common theme. They all relate to botanical themes. So why you made the selection while selecting the artworks for this particular exhibition? Like they have the similar themes. They all have the plants uh, in the paintings.
I think one of the reasons is because why I say in the very beginning, because I think for now we lost the time to really feel the world around us, but those painting about plant and it's actually very different from like because Sada Suhangan was a pure like it's a overwatch view from top to bottom. That's is a flower is a plant next to his balcony. And for the other two, one of them is more like you standing underneath a tree, a blooming tree, and you looking at those flowers. And the other one is more like a observation of like a childhood scientific observation about how the plant grow up and how it will affect the environment around it. It's more like a relationship between human, plants, and animals, and that is like although it's all about like the nature itself, but it took us in very different perspective. So it will easily bring us to the idea of I once make out the feeling, make out the same feeling, or make out the same perspective as the artists have given us. So throughout this, like the sudden idea, we may really get up. We may suddenly have the idea, like yeah, we are how will I say, like we really want to then we really want to feel that things again. So we will be more careful with what we are experiencing during our life now. Just like slow down and be more attention to the environments around us, like that.
Yeah. So I saw the artworks which are being exhibited and I visited the site and they all look amazing. They all have something similar, which you even mentioned that they all have environmental and natural motifs. And it like the moment I saw these artworks, it somehow relates and like there is a kind of instant connection which we feel that it is something which we see around, like all the time, like the plants, the environment, the sky, and everything which is around us all the time and like ever present, and we are very much connected to it. And in the artist, he tried to show that thing that all the things which are happening around us, they are somehow related to nature, natural elements. And the one particular artwork which you mentioned about the Sadasuhagan plant, and I even saw some videos where the artist was talking about like how this artwork came to the canvas, like where he was talking about some random conversation which he was having with some friend over a call, and he just saw a plant in a balcony, and that was the Sadasuhagan plant, and how the whole artwork came to life, and just a moment of that, like how he imagined everything and he created a piece out of it. And I mean, it somehow connects us to the very natural things which are happening around us, and how it totally depends on us how we perceive them and how we take them in. Like we can ignore them or overlook them, and if we feel like it, so even if we closely observe them, so there are a lot of things which we can learn from them and just see. There are a lot of things which are around us. Okay, so the interview. Okay, so the interview final. For the link of our YouTube channel, you can just go to our profile bio, and there you can watch the video. And also the private view, which was happened on 15 December. The video of the whole session is live on our YouTube channel, and you can watch that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you mentioned earlier, like the feeling ar around the piece, the Suhangen, is also bring me like at first I was really curious about why he particularly particularly take choose the color blue as the like as the ground, because like normally I don't think you will use a blue brick to build up your balcony or any of the ground. I immediately think because he make the texture more like a water like texture, and it's giving people a bit like a depression, or I feel some like sadness inside the the piece in general. So I then just like trying to dig into the reason why I have the feeling. So I go through a Indian theory of rasa, which is means like a taste that people will normally having this idea in Indian traditional dance performance, which you see from their facial expression, that the happiness, the angriness, jealousies inside through the facial, but they also use color to describe those emotional things. And then during our conversation with Shahu, himself also mentioned the idea of rasa theory, which means like during his creation, he he consciously involve those idea inside his work. Uh, Also his choose of the colors and all those things, which is very unique and very linked to his his cultural background. And I see we got a question like why I choose the title immersion. It's also a very interesting question. Like at first, I wasn't really go through the Rasa series. I also look at into the phenomenologies. Yeah, phenomenology by uh, Merleau-Ponty is a French philosopher, and in his idea, it's like he think we are a body of the flesh, so we will experience ourselves before we notice, and we our body is kind of the first things who experience this world. And it's also echoing with our conversation with Mr. Sahu. He also said like artist is the person who was first experiencing the work. Like artists are the first audience his own work, and he is the one who the first one who experienced the emotional and the feelings that he felt for he felt and he want to describe in the world. And that is so I got this word perception through Merleau-Ponty's series, and throughout our conversation, I think what Mr. Sahu trying to describe is the emerge of the perception. So I just simply used this like my personal feeling and the word I choose. So yeah, it's like it's a more like a description of my personal feeling, but it's also describe what Mr. Sahu want to uh, giving out in his practice. Yes, hope he answered.
Okay, I was about to say that the title is interesting, and like how the artist himself invites to create a perception, like first feel the things which are happening, and then you make a perception of that particular thing. And this title sounds very beautiful, so
Yeah.
I was very curious for that. So you mentioned like how you connected the artist's work with Indian rasa theory, and
Mm.
you even mentioned some Western philosopher into that. So how do you see these two frameworks working together, like blending Western and some South Asian philosophy? Uh, does one take priority in understanding his work, or do they illuminate different aspects?
Um, yeah, I think it's more like a conversation between Eastern and Western. But like for me, because myself is not a philosophy elist, so I just know a bit of it. My basic understanding is like I find there is some similarity between Russell theory and um uh, phenom phenomenology. Yeah, is that word? Yes, phenomenology. Is because they're both asking us to experience before actually thinking through it. Like, experiment with our body rather than experiment with our like brain. And those idea is more like how I can, because our audience is mainly based in India for now, but like we think, but I think it's more interesting to having more people that get to know Indian theory and also how Indian artists was kind of thinking in more word wealth way. So I try to link those ideas together. So Western audience may also understand a bit more about Indian series, and but I think it's also a quite ideology way to say that if I got the word right, because I think Western people now they are also more interested in the Eastern there. Like a lot of people will go to uh South South Asian to study the Buddhism and also the lifestyles which we are currently experiencing. So it's just an idea for those who doesn't really know the Rasa theory. Like it's more like a bridge to help them understand what we are trying to say about without uh, over ex over explain or get the idea wrong. That kind of like idea. Hope I explained it right. Like
So yeah,
it's harder to understand. It's more like a bridge.
yeah, I get that. But could you please explain a bit about the Rasa theory? Because I'm very curious about it, like how it get links to our artist work and how you connected it to this particular exhibition.
Yeah. I think it's more like the color he was using during the practice. But I just got difficulty to pronounce those words, so bear me. But uh, from my understanding, that there are seven colors in Rasa series, all uh described in different emotion, which blue is meaning like happiness. Blue is more like something we use to describe the god Vishnu, and also um I better need to make sure I say something right. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm very curious about this theory, like how it goes well with our ongoing exhibition and how our artist believes in this philosophy and how his works align with this theory. So, yeah, I
Mhm.
was particularly curious about that.
I think for that, Mr. Shahu didn't really explain why. Like he did mention that his work was based on the theory, but he didn't really mention why he like the work was why he having thought that like is based on the theory. But like for my understanding is mainly because like the color he was choosing that really resonate with what he was trying to express in his work. Yeah, for example, like the color blue is being described like discussed. It's like a really not like impositive word that to use, which can like which you can see in his work, Sadasuhagen. It brings me the idea of he may really discuss the time that we are having during lockdown. Oh, I haven't mentioned that because during our conversation, he said, as you mentioned, it's a conversation between he and his friend, but is the conversation is happening during the lockdown. And I think that is the reason why I feel the sadness and the like the emotion in his artwork is
Yeah,
like,
I guess.
yeah, we are all trapped in the house. And,
Sorry to interrupt you.
yeah.
Yeah, but
So
when
yeah,
I saw the particular artwork, and now as you mentioned that it was the work he created in during the lockdown. So
yeah,
the colors which he used, they look a bit gloomy, and they show the environment which was during the lockdown, and it somehow shows the kind of darkness, gloominess which we people were feeling when they
yeah,
were like closed into their homes. So yeah, I
yeah,
guess it visually depicts that particular feeling.
yeah.
And
Because
in the color,
yeah, visually it's like really, although like blue in like a more general context, you will see it like a calm, a really calm or like that
yeah.
vibe, but it's actually totally different from what like if you put into a Rasa theory, that kind of topic is like a totally different conversation.
Yes. I
Yes.
guess he uses these kinds of work, which colors actually,
Yeah.
they instantly make you feel something like the certain emotion which he wants to convey.
Yeah.
So yeah, that part is very interesting for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And also because it's a really interesting interesting cut down through his work. Like the bottom side is blue, and the upper word is more like a dark brown black, that kind of vibe. Which is this color is like, as I said, blue is more like discussed in Russia theory, but like dark brown black is more represented in romantic and love. It is like you can see for the flower, like flower side of really happy about it, but like down inside he was not happy with the the circumstances at that time because of the lockdown thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess he tried to show that, like, on one side, he is showing the ongoing feelings, like
yeah,
the whole environment, and like with the plant, which is very bright in color. So he wanted to show the hope which the natural elements of which nature can provide to the humans, and even in such unpredictable times.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I decode it. I might be wrong in that.
Yeah, I think we try to rate it in our own understanding. Like it's actually a process of feeling that I really want to put in. Um, yeah,
Yeah. So, okay, let's move ahead. So, one more question which I want to ask from you. You mentioned the word purification, uh, the purification process, uh, which is kind of a phase in an artistic journey, and
mm,
that how a small A4 work, even a A4 size work, it took months to create.
yeah,
In practical terms, what does he actually do during those months? Like the whole, like it's a whole lot span of
yeah.
time. And like, is he constantly adding the layers, or is there a lot of observation? Because that is a huge timeline which he takes to create a particular artwork.
I think he did. Like in our conversation, he was at like a simple A4 size of uh work he will take monthly. That it's also you can also see this process through his like on his work through the texture, the little dot he was using. It's more like he might having a brief, like a draft, like what he want to practice on the paper for this time, but like he doing he was, I think for me he was using watercolor, but more like a technique that you are naturally use in oil painting, because for oil painting you can simply easy adding a lot of layer, and you can change your idea in between, because you are like it will be easy for you to wipe out or to cover what you want to write about, what you are drawing about. And but like for watercolor it's different, it's more like a watery thing that it's really difficult to cover up. So I think that like is also the reason why you see that part of his work may be really dimmed, or it's not really in focus, because he may change it for like multiple times, so that area will be really difficult to see what it was about. But like through those dots, we'll see that he actually pay a lot of patience and observation and waiting in between the creation, in between his creation journey. Yes.
Yeah, even I read about the artist and I even attended the private view in which he mentioned that his practice is deeply rooted in observation and it is like
Yeah.
he takes a lot of time to create, like he completely drown himself in a particular
Yeah.
feeling or emotion which he is trying to convey through a particular artwork. And it takes a whole lot of patience to do that. Like for such a long time which you are spending with a particular artwork, so yeah, there are a lot of emotions and feelings which you put into it, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much visible. And yeah,
Yeah. I think it's
also
more
one,
you're not looking at a simple like a second of his life, but you are looking at those whole period of like maybe it takes 6 months to do the work. So maybe so you are looking at the work that have the months of his life, of his
yeah,
thinking, and so yeah.
yeah, that's a long phase. It takes up,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a piece of life, I would say. Yeah,
Yeah.
you said it right. One more thing which struck me when I was hearing or saw one of his interviews, he describes himself as being art sick. Could you elaborate on this sickness? Is it more about the personal pain or heightened sensitivity to the things which are happening around?
Mm, I think from my understanding, it's kind of the both. Like I mentioned, like he what follow of like he described himself artistic. He said artists are the person who enjoy the artwork, and also he said like he giving an example of a Indian movie that the main character's walking style has become a how do you say it's become a worldwide walking style after the movie has gone public. And it was saying that like I think what he was trying to say is more like mm, the idea of having particular style will eventually having a lot of people to um, agree with you. And although it's more like personal thing, but like we all share 1 second of the same experience we already have, and that is the reason why we can understand each other's. So you can say that the this kind of sickness is personal, but it's more about how he feel about the world, and how he trying to link with everyone else that may share the same experience. Yeah.
Yes. And I guess this thing which he wants even other people to feel, it's quite involved in the interviews which he explained everything behind his artistic practice. So it's quite visible. So there are things which he wants to convey to the people. And frankly speaking, the things which he wants to express, like I can see that in his work to some extent.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, is there anything which you want to convey through this exhibition or through this theme which you feel very connected to through the artist work and this particular exhibition, which you want people to feel? So, is there anything particular
Um,
thing?
like for myself personally, I just would like anyone who have seen or who want to go back to see again, just like really experience it with your, just like feel it with your eye, but like experience it with your body. That you may have the same experience or you may have the same second that you share with Mr. Sahu, just like really feel the work. And yeah, that is the main idea I want to share with you.
Yeah, and when I was reading the curatorial note and the description, like what this exhibition really means. So, this thing which you want to convey through this exhibition is very relevant in this fast-paced world. In a world where everyone is rushing to do their things, to their jobs, and in their lives. So, these works of the artist, they ask you to stay, to notice, and to feel the things which are happening around us.
Yeah.
And they remind us that these everyday mundane moments are very significant and they are the very foundation of how we understand ourselves, each other, and like the people around us and life in itself. And this exhibition, I feel it invites us and to shift our focus to some extent on the things which are happening around us and all the people around us to like take a break from this digital things and like feeling like actually feeling everything which is happening around us. And as we come to close of this session, so I would like to invite everyone to experience this exhibition. So this exhibition will be running till 15th of January 2026. And this exhibition invites us to notice things and how meaning is formed quietly through observation, memory, and our everyday encounters. We encourage you to spend time with the artworks and revisit them if you want. And if you have any doubts or queries, you can email us or DM us on our social media. And thank you for being part of this conversation and sharing a moment with us. So thanks a lot. Thank you, Laura, for sharing your insights and everything.
Hosting